If you have ongoing exposure to controlling people, it's a virtual certainty that you're going to experience blurry boundaries, which is why I've created the extensive online course called This Is Me, Establishing Boundaries with the Controllers in Your Life. There's a link below that will give you all of the details, and I hope that you would find it therapeutic. I'd like to begin today by asking a rhetorical question, and that's simply this. When you're with a narcissist, and especially if this is someone that you have ongoing interactions with, do you ever get the feeling that you're just being scrutinized? That narcissist has some sort of agenda for you, and it's your job to figure out what's on the agenda and comply with them? And of course, the answer is, well, yes, of course. That's what they do. Narcissists approach relationships such that they are with an attitude of entitlement, and specifically, they're looking toward you to give them supply. They presume that it's your job to lay down who you are and come along with what they are and make them feel good about whatever they've got going on that particular day. And as a result, you can, the further you go into a relationship with a narcissist, characteristics like openness and genuineness and free-flowing exchange are not part of the equation. Instead, the more time you spend in that person's presence, particularly if you come under their influence, you feel like you have to read the narcissist. Is this person in a good mood today or not? You feel like you have to filter your decisions or your priorities through that person. You approach the relationship with a great deal of defensiveness. And in total, we can say that over time, you can get to the point where your relationship skills become less and less effective because bad habits emerge when you're in the presence of someone that doesn't know how to do relationships well. Now, my reaction is, hey, wait a minute. I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want to be the kind of person that lays down what's reasonable for me only to keep that narcissist who's looking to me for supply to keep them satisfied. I'm not going to do that. So to that effect, I want us to zero in on 7 of the most common mistakes that you can make when you're engaging with a narcissist that's going to get you in trouble every single time, and it's going to keep you in the ditch of dysfunction, okay? So let's zero right in on this, and I hope that you can have some honesty about who you are and how you conduct yourself with that narcissist. Now, the first mistake that you can make with the narcissist is you can go into a battle for control. Narcissism, by definition, is illustrated when a person has a very strong control agenda. The narcissist thinks, well, there's me in this equation. That's enough. And so they want to fill you with them. And as a result, they can be very bossy. They give directives. They can be stubborn. And so I know that when you're on the receiving end of that, you think, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. But what can happen is you can get pulled into the counterflow. And even though you don't like being controlled, you may go into a controlling mindset in reverse. And you can be bossy and stubborn and agitated. And in doing so, you mimic the very characteristic in that person that you don't like. I don't want to be that kind of person. That's not something I'm going to minimize. Why would I do in reverse what I don't like them doing to me? Now, right along with that, number 2, a mistake that you can make is you can go into a pleading and a persuasive and a coercive style of communication with that person. How many times have you found yourself getting caught in circular arguments and debates? Now, one thing that we can say is if you enter into a debate with a narcissist, the game is rigged. In their mind, they are going to win because they think competitively they have to stay on the superior side. And so again, I want you to think, what happens to me when I go into that debating style? Have you ever once had the privilege of having that narcissist say, you really make a lot of good sense? No, when you debate, they have to come on even stronger, and it leads to frustration on your side every single time. Now, a third mistake that you can make with that narcissist is you can decide, I don't like the way they do things. I'm going to put guilt and shame onto that person. And so you say ugly things about them. I can't believe that you're being so mean. I can't believe that you're somebody that treats people so cruelly. Let's keep in mind that guilt and shame is the name of the game for the narcissist. They're good at that, and you know that they do that to you. I know you don't like receiving it, and so again, we go back and say, then why would I do the same in reverse? I know it doesn't work for me when they put it on me. And so if I go into that space in reverse, all they're going to do is double down on their insults and put downs. It's a losing proposition. Not going to go there. Now, a fourth mistake that you can make is you can collapse emotionally. I've had so many times when people would sit in my counseling office and they would be crying and sulking and whining. It's like, I can't believe they're doing this to me. I hate it when they treat me so badly. What I remind these people is first, narcissists have no empathy. They don't care what you think. And as far as they're concerned, when you have your emotional collapse, it just proves to them that you're defective. And so when you cry, when you whine, at some point it's your way of saying, you got to me, it's working. No, I'm not gonna spend tears and complaining and whining on that narcissist. They're not worth the anxiety. Now, a fifth mistake that you can make is you can enter into what we would refer to as the over appeasement mode. You can be a super people pleaser. And that's what we refer to as fawning. When we say somebody's fawning all over them, basically it's like, well, okay, maybe if I just am the nicest person, if I just do everything I can to make my slate clean, then maybe that'll be it. And so you overdo it, trying to be friendly and pleasant and all like that. But in doing so, you denigrate yourself and you wind up playing an enabler's role. It requires you to suppress your emotions. It requires you to ignore your boundaries. That's a mistake you don't want to make. Now, a sixth mistake that you might make is you might decide, well, maybe if I can appeal to that narcissist's humanity and decency. And so you enter into a style of communication where you share the reason that you have, the needs that you share your hurts, you share your desires, thinking, well, if I can just show them that human dimension, maybe that'll soften them up and we'll have a meeting of the minds and we'll have a heart connection. No way. Let's keep in mind that narcissists are data gatherers. They don't make heart connections. You're trying to bring, when you do this, you're trying to bring healthiness to a very unhealthy person. You have to operate with the assumption that anything personal that you share with that person can and will be used against you. Prepare for that and don't make the mistake of thinking that you can bring them into a personal dimension with you. And then a seventh mistake that you can make, and that is you can take their insults personally. Now, when the narcissist is insulting you and treating you badly, it actually does feel kind of personal because there you are, you're the person on the stage. But you have to remind yourself, whoever is next or whoever came before me gets the same treatment. It's not about you. They want to make all of their problems about you, so they'll say all sorts of insulting things. And when you're in the spotlight, it feels really lousy. But let's keep in mind, narcissists insult. Period. They insult you, but they simply insult. If it's not you, it's going to be someone else. So instead of making these mistakes, let's see if you can zero in on some adjustments that will keep you out of their grasp. First and foremost, let's say that when you're engaging with a narcissist and you're trying to find some sort of healthy resolve, you're going to have to individualize your healthy growth initiatives. There is no we, there is no us with a narcissist. That being the case, we'll take it a little bit further and we'll say you're going to need to give priority to your own self-care. And when the narcissist doesn't like it, by the way, this is called boundaries. When the narcissist doesn't like it, then your reaction needs to be, oh, well, I'm going to do it anyway. You want to appreciate the meaning of the word no. Whenever a narcissist is wanting you to engage in ways that are just not consistent with who you are, you can say, no, I'm not going to participate that. And then in addition, we're going to say minimize your explanations. When I say minimize, okay, common sense says you'll explain yourself once if they're wanting to know why you're being what you are. But then the more you feel like you have to explain yourself, then you're in your defensive mode and you're having to justify yourself. Stay calm and use what I refer to as the nonetheless approach. When you say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do that, and they say, well, I don't like that, the nonetheless approach says, I understand that. Nonetheless, I'm going to continue anyway. Now, sometimes you don't need to say it out loud, but nonetheless, be who you are. That being the case, also greatly, say greatly, I mean all the way, lower your expectations. These individuals are committed to the false self. When we use that word false, it's the opposite of true. They're not truth seekers. Their life is built upon the lie that the world is supposed to revolve around them. And so if you expect something very different, you're expecting them to rearrange their character. It's not going to happen. And then finally, make yourself less available. Emotionally, for sure, you don't want to go into that space. And then physically, if possible, make yourself unavailable. The bottom line is narcissists bring a great deal of brokenness into their relationship with you. And it completely unhinges the possibility for normalcy. And your greatest mistake can be that you would make the assumption that you're going to be the one that makes the breakthrough with this person. Let's not make that mistake. Instead, like I say, individualize. Now, I hope that videos such as this can give you some good food for thought. If you've not already done so, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button too. Gus and I will keep bringing more videos. I want to be a person that brings good resources to you so that you can grow and mature and get away from some of the strain that these people can bring to you. If you have a need, I would strongly encourage you to seek therapy. I know that many times when you have these circumstances, that's something that could be very helpful for you. I'm so pleased that we're sponsored by the people at BetterHelp.com. It's an online therapy resource. I've received good feedback, and there are many, many people who have utilized this now, especially since the pandemic hit. But the link is below, and there's a whole team of licensed professional therapists that you can select from. In addition, I have my therapeutic courses, and I put a lot of work into these. It's signing up for an online class where there's a lot of, there are multiple videos, and with each video are teaching documents, and then along with that are guided questions. We have Ready, Set, Connect about making healthy connection skills. This is me about establishing those boundaries, free to be, finding yourself despite the controllers. In addition, for those of you in the podcast world, we have my podcast, and it's growing exponentially. I'm really pleased with the way that's playing out. We have my books. We have our website with many articles, plenty of resources for you to take advantage of. All right, I know that you want to have goodness and decency with that narcissistic person. Good for you that you want to be that person, but then also consider who that individual is and then make your plans accordingly. I want you to be a person that's able to stay in your steadiness. You live with dignity, respect, and civility, like we say here on Team Healthy, because in the end, I'm hoping you can be that person of peace.